Welcome back, folks. I'm gonna go over my little red Corvette. It's a 1985. I painted a guy's truck he traded me a 57 Chevy 4-door that was just a roller. No engine, no transmission, no interior. It was just a pile of junk, but it was rust free, which was a good selling point. So I would have painted the guy's truck for about $1,000, but I took the 57 Chevy in on trade, and I put the 57 Chevy up for $4,500 or trade. And a guy asked me if I wanted to trade the 57 Chevy for this Corvette. Now, it used to be white and run and drove great, so I traded it. And then it didn't need anything other than a headlight motor, and the white paint that had a big chip in the hood and scratches that he claimed that a horse kicked it. So I fixed that and just painted the whole thing red. I think a Corvette looks a lot better red than white. So the red paint I bought was from eBay. It's supposed to be an acrylic enamel. I don't know what it ended up being, some type of base coat or something. But it did this after probably less than a year. It started fading out. It's just a single stage. And just crappy. Now it's been about 3 or 4 years. So it's just baked. So I'm fixing to paint it. Show a video of the process and how I'm gonna paint it. So I just drove it once in a while. Until I thought the fuel pump went out, and it would just crank. Well, the first crank, it would kind of acted like it was going to start, just a whoop, and then just crank over and over. So I bought a new fuel pump. Well, it sat around for about a year. I didn't even do anything. So I bought a new fuel pump, and I thought, well, I'll try it one more time. And I went to start it, and that first crank, something blew apart, and it was seized up. Checked it, so the engine had seized up. So it sat around for a while longer, and then I finally found now I found out that the 85 was a 1-year only motor, because it's a tune port. And so I wasn't sure exactly how to go about what engine I could put in it, since it's got somewhat of a computer and everything in it. But anyway, I lucked out, and I found an 85 Corvette parts car. The front end for it's sitting over beside the garage. Let's go over here. The doors, the guy I bought it from took the front end. I don't know why he dismantled it, but he bought it for the interior. There's the doors, and here's the parts car I bought. Now, I bought this car for $1,000 for the engine, but I knew I could sell the rest of the parts for well over $1,000 and make my money back. In fact, I just sold the whole front end for $200, front suspension, and he claimed the third gear went out in the transmission, so I just left that in there. So I took the engine out. Here's all the remnants of my old engine. What it had done was a connecting rod was bent, and it was just seized up. So something caused the connecting rod to bend, and anyway, I didn't want to mess with that engine, so I took the engine out of this one. Now, I thought this was supposed to be a 117,000 mile original engine, and it run pretty good. So after I took the engine out, I run the numbers, and it wasn't an 85 Corvette engine. It was it had aluminum heads, so I couldn't get the number off the heads. But the block says it's from a 70 to 72 400 small block Chevy. The interior needs a little bit of work, but seats and everything are good in it. I'll show you underneath the hood here. So here's the engine. It had, I think they're hooker headers on there. It has aluminum heads and some aftermarket valve covers, aftermarket fuel injectors, and a deep sump oil pan. And so I figured it's souped up. And I haven't driven it yet. I mean, I got it in there. I started up, got it in there. I haven't driven it on the road yet to see how fast it was. It's got to be well over 400 horsepower. It's a little cold. Took off all the smog stuff. Smog pump's still on there, but it's not connected to nothing. I took off all the other stuff. See the manifold, I cut and welded the stuff on all that crap. Anyway, it runs and drives now, so that's all that matters. So now I'm fixing to power wash all this dirt. Got 3 or 4 years worth of dirt ground into it. I'm going to scrub it down real good so I don't clog up all my sandpaper. And then I'm going to it doesn't need any body work, so I'm just going to sand it all down. See, some of this paint's all, just take a DA sander, sand it all down smooth. Then so you can see this, some of this paint is peeling here. I'm gonna have to go over the edges real good. It's all peeling. Well, it's worn off here. You can see the white underneath the edge. I have to get all the edges real good. I'm gonna clean all the jams. You can see the dirt's just built up last few years here. I'm gonna wash all the jams. Now I do have this new door weather stripping here, but I haven't bought this. This whole set here is about 200 bucks. I'll probably order that off eBay. Although it doesn't leak a drop. And the original top that was on here was one of those see-through aftermarket deals, and it was all cracked, and you'd drive it and it would bang around. This one I got off a used one, and when I latched it on there, I put a bead of silicone around it so it doesn't make any noise, it doesn't leak. But taking it on and off, it's siliconed on there. And these aren't the little latches, you can just unlatch it. It's got these friggin' big screws on there, so it's really a pain in the ass to take it on and off. So I figured I'd just leave it on there all the time. Got a couple of little buttons for the hatchback. I got some spare parts back here I thought I might have to use. Needs to be cleaned up real good. And you can see all the leaves and stuff been built up here. So I'm going to clean all this up. Probably, I don't know if I'll have to paint the door jambs, but definitely under the trunk. So I'm going to get to work. And I did buy new emblems. Now these are another cheap thing I bought off of eBay about 3 or 4 years ago when I got the car, and I've already faded out. This one you could probably clean that up, but I went ahead and bought 2 new ones. But the front one, the little rubber deal came off this side, so it's just cheap China junk. So anyway, I take them off since I got 2 new ones. I bought the new rear Corvette, and that actually seems to be holding up. So I'm going to take that off and retape it and put that back on there. So anyway, I will post another segment here of me sanding it, prepping it, getting it ready to paint. I'll go in the garage here. As you can see, the Chevelle, I just got done with my Chevelle, and I painted that with that, if you watch the video, Nissan 2K single stage urethane paint. Now the Corvette, I'll show you what I have. I have 2 gallons of red. One is a gallon of the, I think, that eBay stuff that I bought to paint a guy's truck, and he never showed up. I know he decided he didn't want it painted after I already bought the paint. And this is called High Gloss Candy Apple Red. Supposed to be acrylic enamel. I don't know. Now the other is it's a gallon of Wanda based, I got the code somewhere, but it's a base coat. It's got to be cleared. And I had this old guy, he has dementia or something, because he come by wanting this big ass Lincoln painted red with a gold top, and I told him to go ahead and buy the paint and then bring it over and I'll paint it. Well, he bought the paint, the gold and the red, and along with hardener, reducer, all that stuff, brought it over to my shop, and then he never showed back up, and that's been at least 4 years ago. So I guess he forgot about it. So anyway, I got that red paint here. I do have the code somewhere. I'm not sure exactly what he got, but I can see it's red. This other red looks a little bit darker, but I'll probably paint it this Wanda base. So I'm going to paint it with this Wanda base base coat, and I'll have to get some enamel clear and clear it. So I'll be putting on probably you know, 3 coats of red base coat, 3 coats of clear. So that's basically how I'm going to do this Corvette, since I don't have to buy any paint. I already got some paint. I'd rather not. I'd rather buy some of this Nissan 2K. Candy red is the ones I used before, and it'll last a long time, but it's about $200 a gallon. So I saved myself $200 by buying. Of course, I'll have to buy clear, so I'm really not saving a whole lot if I gotta buy clear anyway. But anyway, that's what I'm gonna be painting it with. So I'll do another segment here in a little while of prepping it. I'll talk to you later.